Module 10. Finding the work, pipelines, portals, and opportunity identification. How a consulting firm identifies opportunities before they are advertised, where every funder publishes, how to build a pipeline register, and how to decide what to bid on. Start with the principle. By the time an assignment is advertised, the deadline is typically 2 to 3 weeks away. Every competitor has the same document, and the shortlist will be decided on references you either already have or do not. The advertisement is the end of the opportunity, not the beginning. Financed work is visible long before it is advertised because the funders publish the entire cycle. Opportunity identification is the discipline of reading upstream documents systematically, rather than watching a notice feed. The lead time ladder. 4 upstream sources in order of how much warning they give. Country strategies, 2 to 5 years of warning. The country partnership framework, country strategy paper, country partnership strategy, or multi-annual indicative program names the sectors a funder will finance in a country and the indicative envelope. It tells you which markets are worth building capability in at all. ADB additionally publishes a country operations business plan listing indicative projects by year, which is unusually specific. Pipeline entries, 1 to 2 years of warning. Projects appear on funders' public project databases at concept stage, with a status such as pipeline or concept review, alongside a project information document. This tells you a named project exists, who the borrower and executing agency are, the sector, and the approximate financing. Procurement plans, 3 to 18 months of warning, and the single highest value document in the sector for business development. Published with the appraisal documents and updated throughout implementation, a procurement plan lists every plan package. The description, the estimated value, the selection method, whether it is prior or post-review, and the expected dates for the notice and the contract. The World Bank publishes these through its STEP system. Other banks publish equivalents. If you read one class of document only, read these, and appraisal documents. The project appraisal document, the report and recommendation of the president, or the appraisal report, with its annexes on implementation arrangements and procurement, tells you how the project will be run and by whom. Board calendars and approval lists tell you what is about to become real. And remember the effectiveness lag from Module 8. Approval is followed by months of conditions before procurement starts. That lag is your preparation window. Signals during implementation. Live projects generate work continuously, and the documents that reveal it are public. Implementation status reports and supervision aid memoirs record what is going wrong. Delayed procurement, weak P, IU capacity, safeguards noncompliance, disbursement below target. Every one of those problems is bought help. Midterm reviews frequently trigger restructuring and additional technical assistance. Additional financing operations extend projects and add packages. And contract award notices are competitor intelligence. They show who won what, at what value, in which country, for which client. Read against your target market, they tell you who your real competition is, who the incumbent is on a repeat client, and which primes are winning work large enough to need subconsultants. Where to watch? Multilateral banks. The World Bank's Projects and Operations database, its procurement notices, and its contract award data. UN Development Business. ADB's project listings and its consultant management system, where firms and individuals maintain profiles and are recruited. The AFDB IDB is DB, NDB, and AIIB procurement pages. The EBRD's client e-procurement portal, and the EIB, the European Union. The Funding and Tenders portal and the official journal for external action under the Prague Rulebook. The UN. The United Nations Global Marketplace for Registration and Notices, plus each agency's own vacancy and procurement portal, since individual assignments are frequently advertised only there. Vertical funds. The Green Climate Fund's board documents and approved funding proposals, which name the accredited entity that will do the contracting. The Global Fund, Gavi, and the others publish grant and country information that identifies the principal recipient or implementing body. Bilateral agencies. GIZ, KFWAFD, and Expertise France FCDO, JICA, KOICA, and the rest each run their own tender pages and framework calls, and national systems. This is the one most often missed. A large share of assignments, especially individual consultant positions and smaller packages run by a PIU, is advertised only on the borrower government's own e-procurement portal, on the executing agency's website, or in the national press. If you work a specific country, monitor its national channels directly. Commercial aggregators exist and they save time, but they sit downstream of the official sources and are sometimes late. Use them as a convenience layer, never as the primary system. Now build a tracking system. Define the target market before you monitor anything, or the volume will drown you. Fix 4 boundaries: sector, country or region, client institution, and the contract size and role your firm can credibly hold, prime, joint venture partner, or subconsultant. Then maintain a pipeline register with 1 row per opportunity and these fields: source document and date, funder, borrower and executing agency, project identifier, instrument, package description, estimated value, selection method, expected notice date, our intended role, eligibility check, partner or key expert required, go or no-go decision date, and a named owner inside the firm. Then set a rhythm. Weekly, scan notice feeds and national portals for your target countries. Monthly, reread updated procurement plans on live projects and scan contract awards. Quarterly, read new country strategies, business plans, and board approval lists, and recut the target market against what you have learned. Positioning before the notice. Everything that decides a shortlist is built in advance. Register where registration is required. ADBS Consultant Management System, UNGM, Agency Vendor Portals, accepting that registration alone produces nothing. Build the reference base that will actually be scored. Comparable assignments recorded with client, country, dates, contract value, and your precise role, because shortlisting turns on how closely those match the assignment. Line up key experts early and obtain written availability commitments, since expert scores carry the largest single share of most technical evaluations, and a strong expert lost to a competitor is a lost bid. Identify national partners before the notice, not after. Shortlisting and technical criteria increasingly reward genuine local presence, and the good national firms are approached by several internationals for the same opportunity. And where the client runs a market sounding or a request for information ahead of procurement, respond to it. The reference base deserves its own minute. Shortlisting is decided almost entirely on comparable assignments, and an expression of interest is usually due within 2 to 3 weeks. That is not enough time to reconstruct project history. The data has to exist already. Maintain a record of every assignment, completed and ongoing, with the fields a shortlisting form actually asks for. Client and contracting entity, funder, country, sector, total contract value, and your firm's own share of it. Start and end dates, your role, prime, joint venture partner, or subconsultant, the key experts fielded, a description written in the vocabulary the funders use, and a named reference contact. Keep completion certificates and client reference letters because some clients require documentary proof rather than an assertion. Update the record when a contract closes, not when a bid is due. The recurring defects are consistent, and each one costs marks. Consortium totals recorded as if they were the firm's own value. Missing or approximate dates. Descriptions written in internal shorthand, and no evidence of completion. The go or no-go decision. Proposal writing is unbillable overhead. A firm that bids everything loses money on the wins as well as the losses. Apply a decision gate before committing effort, testing 5 things. Eligibility. Nationality rules where the aid is tied, minimum turnover and years in operation, required comparable references, debarment status, and conflict of interest, particularly whether your own upstream design or terms of reference work bars you from this contract. Capability fit. Do you hold the named key experts, and are they genuinely available for the mobilization window stated in the request? Competition. Who has won this client's work in this sector before, and is there an incumbent whose familiarity you are bidding against? Economics. What proportion of the value is fee rather than reimbursables? Is the contract lump sum, putting delivery risk on you, or time-based? What are the payment terms, and what withholding tax and permanent establishment treatment applies in that country? Probability. Have you positioned at all, or are you meeting this client for the first time in an evaluation committee? And the outcome is not only bid or do not bid. It is also bid as a subconsultant to a stronger prime, bid as a joint venture, or decline this one and position for the next package in the same procurement plan. Who decides and when? Give every opportunity a named owner at the moment it enters the register, not when the request for proposals arrives. Unowned opportunities are the ones that are noticed late. Run the gate twice. Once on the expression of interest, where the cost is small and the question is whether this client and package are worth a place in the pipeline, and again on receipt of the request for proposals, because being shortlisted changes the odds and the cost profile completely. This is the point at which real money is committed, and it is the decision most often skipped because the firm feels invested already. Separate the authority to commit proposal budget and to approve pricing from the person who wants the win. A capture lead advocating for their own opportunity is not a control, and measure win rate by client, by sector, and by role. Without it, a firm cannot distinguish positioning from luck and cannot tell whether it is losing on price, on experts, on references, or on being the wrong bidder for that client. The boundary, positioning is normal and expected. Some things are not. A firm that wrote the terms of reference or produced the upstream design is normally barred from bidding on the resulting contract. Contacting evaluators during a live procurement is prohibited and will disqualify you. Seeking information not available to all bidders is a conflict, not an advantage. And integrity breaches carry debarment, which is recognized across the major banks simultaneously. Before you rely on any of this, check the source. Portal names, addresses, and coverage change, and not every institution publishes every document class. Check each funder's own procurement and projects pages. Coverage of procurement plans and contract awards varies by institution and by country, and national e-procurement systems differ entirely from one country to the next. In summary, advertisement is the end of an opportunity. Read upstream instead. Country strategies give years of warning, pipeline entries give a year or more, procurement plans give months and name every package and its selection method, and implementation reports reveal what a struggling project will need to buy next. Watch official sources plus national portals, not only aggregators. Define a narrow target market, keep a pipeline register, and work it on a weekly, monthly, and quarterly rhythm. Position before the notice, because references, key experts, and national partners cannot be assembled in a 3-week window, and keep the reference base current, so an expression of interest is assembled from records rather than from memory. Then apply a real go or no-go gate, twice, with a named owner, and with pricing authority held by someone other than the person chasing the win. Because proposals cost money, and a firm that bids everything wins badly. Next, winning the work, procurement, proposals, and selection methods.